What if I told you that one man once stood at the very edge of the world, beyond the mountains of death, beyond the river no human was meant to cross, searching not for gold, not for power, but for eternal life? He was not a god, yet not fully human. He was a king feared by his people, challenged by the gods, and broken by death itself. His name was Gilgamesh, and this is the greatest failed quest in human history. After the Great Flood wiped the world clean, humanity didn't just survive, it rebooted. From the mud and ruins, cities started popping up again like sparks after a blackout. And right in the heart of it all stood Uruk, loud, powerful, unstoppable. Tall walls, crowded streets, people hustling every day just to live another sunrise. And on the throne of this wild city sat a king built different, stronger than every man around him, faster than rumor, feared more than war. He wasn't just a ruler, he was a force of nature. People whispered his name like a warning. Some prayed for him, most prayed against him. He took what he wanted, fought who he wanted, and nobody could stop him. The gods themselves had stacked the deck in his favor, part divine, part human, all power. But power without control hits different. And the streets of Uruk were about to learn the hard way that when a king thinks he's untouchable, something always comes to prove him wrong. The gods looked down at what Gilgamesh had turned into and said, "Nah, this ain't it." Dude was Wilden, too strong, too arrogant. Nobody could check him. So the gods did what gods do best. They made a problem for the problem. Out of pure clay and straight-up chaos, they shaped a savage. No palace, no crown, no rules. They named him Enkidu. This man grew up running with animals, drinking from rivers, throwing hands with lions like it was nothing. No fear, no limits, just raw power and street instincts from the wild. He didn't know the world of kings, and the world of kings didn't know him yet. But fate was loading the collision. One born in luxury, one born in dirt. One ruling the city, one ruling the wilderness. And when these two forces finally met, the ground itself was about to feel it. When Enkidu finally stepped into the city, the whole vibe shifted. Streets went quiet. Dogs stopped barking. Even the air felt tense. This was the wild walking into civilization, and Gilgamesh felt that energy instantly. Two alpha forces, same city, no breaks. When they locked eyes, it wasn't hate, it was recognition. Power met power. And then, boom. Fists flew. Stone cracked. Walls shook like an earthquake hit on purpose. They slammed each other through doors, into crowds, across the streets. The people ran. The guards froze. Nobody had ever pushed Gilgamesh like this. And nobody had ever faced a king like Gilgamesh before. This wasn't just a fight. It was a collision of worlds. Wild versus crown. Dirt versus gold. Instinct versus ego. And after all the dust settled, bruised, bleeding, breathing hard, something crazy happened. Instead of enemies, they saw brothers. And in that moment, the strongest king on earth finally met his equal. The air in Uruk felt different that night. Heavy, like the city itself was holding its breath. Enkidu, the wild man, the brother Gilgamesh never asked for but couldn't live without, was sick. The gods had it out for him. No medicine, no mercy, just the slow creep of death. Gilgamesh sat at his side, hands shaking, tears streaming like rain. He couldn't stop. He couldn't punch this. He couldn't fight this. He whispered to him, begged him to hang on, promised everything, but it didn't matter. Every breath Enkidu took was shallower, weaker, fading into the shadows. When the final exhale hit, Gilgamesh screamed. Not a king's roar, not a warrior's battle cry. A raw, gut-level, soul-shaking scream that ripped through the city streets. The ground felt emptier. The world felt colder. He had lost more than a friend. He had lost the only equal he'd ever known. And in that loss, Gilgamesh realized something no king ever wanted to face. Even the strongest can't cheat death. Gilgamesh lost it. Straight up snapped. The city that once bowed to him felt empty. The walls, the crowds, even the ziggurat, they all felt smaller, meaningless. Enkidu was gone, and the king realized nothing in Uruk, nothing in the world, could fight death. So he did what any obsessed legend would do. He bounced. Left the city behind. Left comfort. Left everything. Desert stretched out like a million miles of nothing, and he ran headfirst into it, fists swinging at wind, eyes burning gold with grief and rage. Mountains, He climbed them. Rivers? He waded through or swam like a madman. Storms? He welcomed them. Every step was fueled by the one thought: cheat death. Find the one man who survived the flood. Grab the secret the gods had stolen from humanity. Immortality wasn't a dream anymore. It was an obsession. Every rock, every grain of sand, every whisper of wind was a reminder. The clock's ticking, and if he didn't move fast, time would snatch him like it had snatched Enkidu. After days, maybe weeks, of walking through nothing but sand, rocks, and storms, Gilgamesh finally found him. The guy who survived it all. Utnapishtim. The dude who saw the world drown and somehow walked out alive. Gilgamesh was hype, eyes wide, heart thumping like a war drum. This is it, he thought. This dude's got the cheat code. But Utnapishtim wasn't just chilling. He was old, calm, untouchable, like he'd been there forever and didn't care about the king's fancy ego. Gilgamesh begged, cajoled, shouted, even tried flexing power he didn't have. Nothing. Utnapishtim looked him dead in the eyes and said, straight up, "Bruh, immortality ain't for you." Gilgamesh nearly lost it. But the old man dropped a hint, a test. Stay awake for 7 days and nights, and maybe, just maybe, you get what you came for. Gilgamesh nodded like a madman, adrenaline and grief fueling him. Time to see if a king could beat nature itself. Gilgamesh finally found it. The one thing he thought could beat death. A glowing, magical plant sitting deep in some mysterious underwater garden, radiating this crazy energy like it owned the world. His hands shook, heart racing, sweat mixing with sand from the desert trek, and for a second, he felt untouchable. This was it, the cheat code. He grabbed it, flexing like a king who'd earned the ultimate prize. But life, as always, had other plans. While he was celebrating, a serpent slithered out of the shadows like a ninja from a myth, scales shimmering, eyes locked on the prize. Before Gilgamesh could react, that sly snake snatched the plant and vanished into the water with zero warning. Just like that. All that blood, sweat, and tears, gone. Gilgamesh screamed. He ran after it, cursed the gods, cursed the serpent, cursed the world. But no luck. The plant was gone. Immortality slipped right through his fingers. And in that moment, he realized, sometimes the gods don't just test you, they straight up humble you. Gilgamesh stomped back to Uruk, empty-handed, salty, and straight up broken. No plant, no cheat code, no immortality. The city looked the same, but he didn't. The walls, the streets, the crowds, it hit him like a ton of bricks. Life moves on whether you win or lose, survive or die. And for the first time, Gilgamesh realized something real. You can't outrun death, but you can leave a mark that outlives you. The walls he built, the stories people told about him, the city he protected, that was his immortality. Not some glowing plant or magic trick. Humans forget flesh, but legends? Legends live forever. Gilgamesh sat on his throne again, older, wiser, humbled, carrying grief and knowledge all in one heavy chest. He finally got it. Life is short, messy, brutal, and that's exactly why it matters. And if you do it right, your name and your story never dies.